It is now my pleasure to introduce Marina Banister. In addition to completing her degree in political science at the University of Alberta, Marina has dedicated herself to student governance. She is currently the president of the U of A Student Union. She's one of the founders of STRIDE, a program encouraging participation and involvement of women and non-binary individuals from all backgrounds in student governance to create meaningful change on campus. She also served on the City of Edmonton's Youth Council, a council that's near and dear to my heart, so welcome.
Hi everyone. So on behalf of the University of Alberta Students' Union, I'm very pleased to be here today to talk about the importance of women in all levels of government. So many women get their first introduction to politics, elections, and government in school, whether that's mock elections in elementary schools or junior highs, or even running for a students' union position in a high school or university. Not everyone realizes that, especially at the university level, when you're on students' union exec, it's actually a full-time paid position. So you really are running, for many people, for your first time for a significant level of office. It's something that you dedicate your life to for a whole year. You know, in fact, at the University of Alberta Students' Union, you actually have to take a year off school in order to hold those positions. So it's not surprising that you see, once you get to that level of governance, that women are also underrepresented there. So at the University of Alberta Students' Union, for example, even though more than 50% of our student population are women, I think it's 56% now, which is a good thing, less than a quarter of the candidates who run for students' union executive positions are women. So you see there's a real gap in the amount of women who are getting a post-secondary education and the amount of women that are running for leadership positions in these roles. Now, a lot of people think, well, it's just student governance, it's, you know, once you graduate it's totally different, but it's not. Actually, running for positions at the universities for students' unions can be very, very similar to running for elections in the municipal government. We have media attention, we do lots of speeches, you have to have volunteers, and we operate with a budget. So if you see a lack of women participating in student governance, it's no surprise that their male counterparts who have gained those skills over running in those student elections have an advantage if they choose to run in any other level of government. So that's why I'm very proud that the University of Alberta Students' Union has recently launched a program called STRIDE. So STRIDE is a cohort leadership program aimed at encouraging women and non-binary students to take leadership positions on campus. So this cohort gets about 20 women for each cohort, and they go and they meet and they talk about how to run campaigns, how to deal with media, how to deal with sexism and criticism, but also how to support each other. Because one of the main things, which Lila may talk about later, is women feel a lack of community and support, but it's also like they're underqualified to run for these positions. In fact, many women have to be asked to run if they ever feel as though they're qualified enough to take on those offices. So what STRIDE does is it gives women, in an educational style, the objective knowledge they need about campaign rules, but it also gives them the community so that people can find their campaign managers and their volunteers in this cohort program. The program was somewhat modeled after Opening the Potential, which is a program the municipal government put on in the last year or so to encourage more women to run for municipal politics. So I'm sure many of you are aware of this, but I was very pleased yesterday that yesterday was nomination day at the City of Edmonton, and we saw lots of women are running for school board trustee and positions in the municipal government. So I would not be at all surprised to hear that Opening the Potential, a program, was a big factor in having more women run for these positions. So what we want to do at the University of Alberta Students' Union is not only have excellent student leaders, but also prepare women with that campaign experience at a young age, so that if they do want to run for other positions later on in their life, they feel equipped and like they can tap into that community they foster at a young age to be their future volunteers. So the election is coming up for the municipal government. I urge everyone to take their preconceived notions about what it means to be a woman in politics and throw that out their mind, to open themselves up to the possibility that women represent all sorts of different identities. Just because someone's a woman doesn't mean that they have to have that tokenistic spot only speaking on behalf of women's issues. We know that women candidates can speak to any number of issues, So not only are more women going to hopefully be elected in this upcoming election, but they'll sit on all sorts of committees, whether that's about finance and infrastructure, all the ones that really make a big difference in the way our city operates. So the election is coming up. I encourage everyone to look into the candidates, to give everyone a fair shot at convincing them to get their vote. And I am very hopeful that we will see more women in city council and school board trustees very soon. Thank you.